Hi guys, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for Monday the 24th of May going through until Sunday the 30th of May 2021. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm going to give you a rundown of what is going on this week and what energy you'll be working with. It's a big week. There are major things happening. First of all, on Wednesday the 26th of May, we've got a supermoon happening. That's a full moon in Sagittarius, which is not just a full moon, it's also a lunar eclipse. So the full moon is interrupted and the energy will be felt for about 6 months. And I read in the news that there's a Qantas flight in Australia that offered people to go see this lunar eclipse. So the flight isn't actually going anywhere. It's just kind of like a joyride to allow people to see this full moon. It is a supermoon, so it's going to be nearer to the Earth. So the moon is going to appear much bigger. If you're on that flight, please let us know in the comments what that was like, because that sounds like a lot of fun. I wish I could take that flight. On Saturday, the 29th of May, we've got Mercury going retrograde. So the communication planet appears to be going backwards, and that's going to influence the way you communicate and the way you see things, and it can bring up a bit of friction at times. So that's interesting. I'll have a look at that when I go through each day. The things that kept coming up when I was writing this horoscope is that there may be a resistance to your own feelings and the way you see yourself. And you may feel at odds with yourself and where you're at in life and what you're going through. And you may have a tendency to reject that instead of embracing it. So before looking at each day, I really think it's important to make a commitment to yourself this week to be your own best friend and to celebrate your achievements and to be grateful for how far you've come, rather than just looking at, oh, I haven't got this and I haven't done this, because it creates a lot of negativity. And it's important this week that you are there for yourself. We've got a lot of water, so a lot of feelings, and by engaging with them, you can learn a lot about yourself, but you can't learn about yourself if you're busy rejecting yourself. So Monday, the 24th of May, we've got the moon in Scorpio opposing Uranus and Taurus. So the moon is the way you feel, and Uranus is the planet of the miraculous and the unexpected. In Scorpio, the moon makes you very, very intuitive, and it also gives you a depth of feeling that really allows you to see the inner landscape and to understand what's going on for yourself. Uranus and Taurus is kind of the opposite. It's chaos in the real world. And it's this sense that I can't really control my life and what's going on. So that puts you kind of at odds. And the moon also squares Saturn in Aquarius. So other people's perception of things may be very different to yours. You may feel misunderstood, or you may even be challenged by other people. And all of that, so the circumstances and other people and these intense feelings that you've got may make you feel like you're on an island by yourself. And if you are on an island, then it really is important to be your own best friend, because then you're giving yourself a chance to have a good time. If you're hating yourself alone on an island, that's not going to be a lot of fun. So really be there for yourself, super, super important, because as well, the moon forms a trine with Jupiter in Pisces, so the lucky planet, and it quincunxes the sun in Gemini and Chiron in Aries. Feeling your feelings, whether they're pleasant or unpleasant, is positive and it actually leads somewhere, and it allows you to heal yourself and to make progress on your journey. So it's really important that you don't reject yourself if you want to understand things and heal them once and for all. You know, if you are going through something and you're like, oh, I don't want to feel this, so I'll numb myself out by taking something or drinking something, you're not going to learn. And it's easily said, I know, but it's going to come up again and again until you do face those feelings and until you understand. And that's not just something that happens like that. Sometimes, in my experience, it can take years. So be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself, and do the best you can. That's it. So Monday the 24th, you may be dissatisfied with what's going on in your real life, and you may be reluctant to accept it. So it may feel difficult, but it actually gives you the strength to change things so that your future circumstances do suit you. So it's about acceptance versus rejection. Accept negative feelings so you can understand them. Those feelings will fuel future actions which allow you to adjust your circumstances so that they are easier to accept, if that makes sense. So it's interesting. It's kind of like the spectrum between accepting what's going on and not accepting what's going on. Accepting that things aren't perfect, that's all you need to do on Monday to use this energy to your advantage so that you can make progress. So things do not have to be perfect in order to serve you. On Tuesday the 25th, we have the Scorpio moon forming a trine with Mars in Cancer. Mars in Cancer I have described as kind of a steam coming out of the ears. It's kind of frustration. It's being forced to look after other people's needs and to tend to things which really don't interest you that much, and being forced into a position that you don't want to be in. So that creates more frustration, which is actually, if you look at it with the Scorpio moon, it's a good thing because it really, really allows you to look at the feelings because they're going to be right there. It's like, okay, hello, I can't really ignore this anymore. It's looking at me in the face. And with Neptune and Pisces, it allows you to gently make sense of your feelings, your dreams, the future. Excuse me. Okay. Your dreams, what you want to manifest in life, what is going on in future, and what you don't want to repeat. So what feelings, what negative lessons about myself do I want to learn now once and for all so I don't have to repeat this endlessly? The Scorpio moon sextiles Pluto in Capricorn. So this emotional understanding allows you to make real life changes, which are significant. Think of Pluto in Capricorn kind of like the tower in the tarot. And it quincunxes Venus in Gemini and Mercury in Gemini. So by communicating with yourself and giving yourself the time and space to have your feelings and loving your way through those is really what helps you move forward in life. So Monday and Tuesday are very internal days where there's a lot going on in here and you can make a lot of progress. And you don't just have to spin your wheels and be frustrated. You can actually close things off once and for all. So on Tuesday, you have an active imagination and you can see beyond your current situation, project into the future to see what you'd like to manifest. It's a great day to brainstorm and to get creative. It's not a good day to compare yourself with other people or to project into the future with a sense that I know what the rest of my life is going to look like. It's because that kind of adds a sense of doom. Nothing's ever going to change. So you don't know what's going on in future. You don't know what's going to happen in 5, 10 years, 15 years. So don't do that to yourself and don't kind of gallop off into the future thinking you know every little detail. You really don't. Anything could happen. So it's important to look after yourself and to do fun things which are going to make you happy. Comparing yourself can really feel like it crushes your sense of esteem and your joy. So look at your own feelings and your own mood as something that's very, very important and that you should manage, and do things that you enjoy, because negative emotions are going to be amplified on Tuesday. So if you get sad or angry or upset, it can really be very destructive, put a spanner in the works, and it doesn't get you anywhere. So it's much more productive for you to take a little bit of time on Tuesday and say, do you know what, I'm just going to enjoy myself. I like eating cotton candy, so I'm going to go and do that. And it may seem frivolous, but it makes me feel good. If you do that for an hour, you are much more likely to have a productive Tuesday than going through all these feelings and saying, I deserve to suffer and I haven't done enough, so I have to work more and I have to be really hard on myself. That's not going to get you anywhere. So allow yourself little luxuries and little pick-me-ups that make you feel good. It's not the easiest energy on Monday, Tuesday. And I've said it a few times now, but taking care of yourself ought to be your top priority. Okay, so then on Wednesday, the 26th of May, we've got the moon going into Sagittarius at 4:39 in the morning. And then we have the full moon in Sagittarius, which is also a lunar eclipse happening later on in the day. Okay, so I'll make a separate video on this to go into more detail, but the full moon is that time of the moon cycle when it's able to reach its completion point and say, oh, here you go. I'm going to shower you with my energy. I'm letting go. And it gives all of us loads of Sagittarius energy, which is a fire sign. It's about setting goals, moving towards those goals, and having fun and learning and being willing to experience new things and to broaden your horizon. So it's a really positive energy. With the lunar eclipse, the Earth's umbra, that's what I love that word, the umbra of the Earth is like the shadow of the Earth. It's going to make the moon kind of look reddish because the shadow falls on the moon, and it's not black. It's kind of browny reddish color. So it's going to make the moon look like it's got a bit of rust on it, which is interesting because it's a fire sign. So that's very much aligned with the spirit of Sagittarius. And it is going to stick around for the next 6 months. So this optimism, this willingness to travel, to have adventure is going to stick around. I will go into more detail in the video that I make on the eclipse. But also on the day, we've got that happening. And then the Sagittarius moon opposes the sun in Gemini, obviously, because the sun lights up the full moon. It squares the lucky planet Jupiter in Pisces, so we've got water there now. It trines the wounded healer Chiron in Aries. It quincunxes, wow, okay, so a lot going on. It quincunxes Uranus and Taurus, and it sextiles Saturn in Aquarius. So we've got the moon really hitting pretty much most of the other planets in the chart, particularly the outer planet. And the feeling I get is that there's this sense of, I can transcend everything that's going on in my life. And it's like, oh, freedom. I don't have to examine everything anymore. I don't have to take things so seriously. I can just gallop off on my own thing. It's really liberating as far as I'm concerned. So it's positive, it's fun, it gives you the enthusiasm and motivation to do something new, but also it allows you to become hooked in by something which really captures your interest, and you find it easy to set new goals. The sense of adventure is there. You also have great ideas that you can teach other people. So it's not just about having your own new things that are fun and motivating. It's taking other people along for the ride and sharing your ideas and your thoughts. So it's a great day for writers and educators. You really will know how to pitch information very, very well so that other people can understand it. You'll be able to work with obstacles like visas, financial constraints, relationship issues, especially if these things usually seem impossible to you and they seem so difficult that you give up. Once you've looked at them, it's like, I'll never be able to do this. And you just kind of go, oh, I can't. You won't be discouraged by those today, and you'll find ways to work around insurmountable obstacles. So the impossible becomes possible. Hooray. So share your ideas to get other people. Share your ideas with other people. Make useful suggestions and allow other people to make useful suggestions which you do something with. There's a really nice symbiotic relationship between you and other people, and by kind of putting two heads together, you'll really be able to solve a lot of problems. So it's not just you and this ability to overcome your own issues. You can look at other people's and help them out, and they can help you out. So teamwork is a good idea on Wednesday. All right, moving on to Thursday, the 27th of May, we've got Venus in Gemini. Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity, in Gemini is really optimistic, and she's looking at the future. It's kind of like, where's Cupid shooting his bow and arrow at the moment? Love, where is love? It squares Neptune in Pisces, so the idea of love is really heightened. It really puts a lot of romance into the chart. The Sagittarius moon opposes Mercury and Venus in Gemini. So that's amazing because you feel a sense of adventure within, and with the opposition to the communication planet and the planet of love and beauty, the sense of adventure when applied to the real world really allows you to go far and to really have wonderful, new, positive, life-affirming experiences. It squares Neptune in Pisces, so things aren't just in your head, they're not just dreams. The impossible can happen, and that's another great theme that's coming up now that I didn't see earlier, is that you're able to, the impossible becomes possible. Love it. I'm just jotting that down. Also, we've got the Sagittarius moon. It quincunxes Mars in Cancer. So it's kind of like skipping over this personal sense of frustration and the steam coming out of your ears. And it's like, it's not that serious. Just because some things are frustrating and difficult, I don't need to kind of stare at them all day and really let my mood be made worse. I can do other things. I can transcend that. So it's interesting because as the week progresses, you still have the emotional insight, but it kind of shifts. You're able to transcend the negative and you make room for love and really beautiful, positive emotional experiences. Nice. So Thursday the 27th, love is in the air. Group events, particularly sporting events or concerts or people doing public speaking. All of those are really, really inspiring to you personally, but also there's the potential for you to meet your soulmate, to meet someone who's really like-minded. Not that every soulmate has to be like-minded. I believe in opposites attracts or like attracts like, but the energy for love and the soulmate to come in is really supported by the astrology on Thursday. You may also find that you're inspired to the point where you need to create some art or music yourself, even if you've never done anything like that. It just kind of bubbles over and you're like, wow, this is so powerful in me. I need to do something with it and put it out into the world. So be willing to get creative. It's also a great day to travel and to broaden your horizons, either by seeing new places or intellectually by learning new things. Let friends and family make suggestions about places you'd love to visit. They know you and will give you good advice on Thursday. And not just about travel and places that you're unaware of. Let other people give you advice on Thursday. It's really likely to touch something in you that works and that's useful. It's not unsolicited, useless. It's not. It's really helpful. On Friday, the 28th, we've got the moon going into Capricorn at 4:33 in the morning. Capricorn is an earth sign that concerns itself with work and getting somewhere through hard work. It squares Chiron in Aries, trines Uranus and Taurus, sextiles Jupiter in Pisces, and quincunxes the Sun in Gemini, Mercury in Gemini, and it conjuncts Venus in Gemini. Wow. Okay. So the moon is remember the way you feel. It's like your insides. And when it connects with this many external energy, it can feel put upon. And that's what I meant when I looked at this at the beginning of the reading, where I said you may have this sense of feeling smaller, or like you want to reject yourself, or your feelings are not valid. And it's just because of days like Friday, where there's so much going on externally that it's like, oh, it really doesn't matter what I'm feeling. I need to make sure that I meet all of these external requirements and that I get busy and do everything that is expected and demanded of me. And it isn't. You're entitled to your feelings, and this week your feelings really allow you to learn and to gain insights which can set you free. So please don't dismiss your feelings, particularly here on Friday. So the Capricorn moon and the square with the wounded healer in Aries, that is dismissal of personal healing. It's saying that chaos and the outside world is everything, and that I need to make progress in a real world way, but it isn't. Listening to your feelings and saying, this motivates me, this is important to me, that's really the fuel that gets you to go a long way. So with that said, the emotional insights and the moon in Capricorn, you do become work and career focused. Financial success is going to be put on a pedestal, and one of these external influences that may seem suddenly very, very important and more important than your own feelings. And you may confuse your personal esteem that you have for yourself with financial security, a career success, or personal appearance. And you are not your money, you're not your career, and you're not the way you look. You're a spiritual being who is eternal, and that's really where your esteem ought to come from. So please be careful about this, because with this earthy Capricorn kind of energy that says, I am my bank account, then you really do have the potential to compare yourself with other people and to let yourself be crushed if you feel less than. So don't do that to yourself. It's really destructive. So, and also remember that everyone could do better in these areas. You know, everyone could go to the gym and be fitter. Everyone could have a more successful career. So give yourself a break, make a gratitude list instead, and give yourself a round of applause for how far you've come already in your life. More love is available to you. So make sure you meet people online or in person if you're looking to meet your soulmate. And again, you can't do that if you're busy kind of giving yourself a hard time about how you're not good enough. You can only do that when you're like, I am fine as I am, thank you very much. I'm going out today to have a good time, to share the love, to meet some new people who will make me laugh and who are like-minded, and it's going to be fun. So do that for yourself. You have the ability to get disciplined about that and to say, I'm going to have a good time. That's my resolve for Friday. And I mean, you do become more work and career focused. So if you have a lot to do in your work or career, then you're able to get things done and to be very productive. Just make sure you don't confuse who you are as an individual with how much progress you make in your work. On Saturday the 29th, Mercury, the communication planet, does go retrograde until the 22nd of June. Mercury retrograde, traditionally it's said that things like computers starts being less reliable, you know, emails go missing, snail mail letters don't arrive or get lost. If you're trying to make a point, someone may pick up on completely the wrong thing and totally misunderstand you. It's just easier to get the wrong end of the stick when it comes to communication. Also, travel can be disrupted. So planes are delayed and you hold the map the wrong way around and you go in the wrong direction. It's that kind of stuff. It's really just practical communication things that may be a bit more difficult. So watch out for that and don't get frustrated if it takes a little bit longer to get your point across, and maybe really make sure that you're very clear in what you're trying to say. But on the plus side, when Mercury does go retrograde, you're kind of forced to communicate in a way that's different. And I've spoken about this tendency this week to kind of reject yourself and your own feelings. And with Mercury going retrograde on Saturday, you're able to communicate with yourself better and to say, okay, I'm willing to embrace this and to learn from what's coming within. If you look at the retrogrades of the outer planets, which in astrology, the retrogrades of the personal planets, Mercury, Mars, Venus, they're much more influential and seen as much more influential because they're personal planets and they have a personal impact on you than the outer planets, which spend a lot of time in retrograde. Like Saturn in retrograde is like 5-6 months. So it's a much like longer drawn out process. When the outer planets go retrograde, the energy of the planet is said to be applied internally. So Saturn is structure and security, right? When it's direct, you can build structure and security in the real world. When it's in retrograde, you're able to rearrange things internally to create inner structure and security. So if we apply that to Mercury in retrograde, you're not just able to communicate with the outside world differently, you're able to communicate with yourself differently. And if there are things which really cause you pain and which you don't understand about yourself, and you're like, why do I do this to myself? It's really awful. Then look at it on Saturday and over the next 3 weeks until the 22nd of June. But be gentle with yourself, because you can really get some resolution on those things. And the more we know and the more we grow and the more we love ourselves and nurture ourselves, the freer we are in life. So really, it's an opportunity to do that. So Mercury in Gemini then conjuncts Venus in Gemini. So how do I love myself? How do I love other people? How do I interact with love? Am I lovable and loving? Or do I troll people online? Or am I mean? It's just as an example, you know? So you're really able to have a very positive look at who you are and to get rid of some of the things that you no longer want to engage with in a positive way. The moon is still in Capricorn, so you're able to get things done on a practical real world level. So you're able to really balance things out during the day. It opposes Mars in Cancer, so there's not much room for frustration. I really feel that you are in this energy of love on Saturday for yourself and the world. And that bodes really well because, like I said, when you act with love, things tend to work out really well. It conjuncts Pluto in Capricorn, so you're able to make real-world changes by working on them. Sextiles Neptune in Pisces and quincunxes Mercury and Venus in Gemini. So letting yourself dream, the impossible dream, and looking at what you want to manifest in your future and investing in that will allow you to take the first few steps to doing that. So set some new goals on Saturday. This is the kind of life I want. Maybe make a vision board. I know those are kind of old school at this point. Did they mention those in The Secret? It's basically the law of attraction. What you focus on gets bigger. And I think the law of attraction in The Secret, and I've mentioned this before, it's not just saying, I'm going to imagine a check coming through the door, so a check is going to come through the door. I think that's the first step. So make a vision board or positive affirmations and say, I am going to manifest a check coming through the door. You put that on your vision board or a picture on your fridge, you cut it out of a magazine or you draw it or something. And then when you look at it all the time, it gets bigger and you create it as a real thing in the spiritual realm. What the spiritual realm then does for you, it starts to give you guidance and messages of what actions you can take to make this check a real thing on planet Earth. So that's step 2, listening to what the universe says to you in response to your manifestation work. And then step 3 is actually doing it. And then step 4 is getting the actual check. So Saturday is a great day to ask yourself, what is it that I want? And to write it down and then put it somewhere where you can see it, or to put it in images if you're a visual person. But it's a great day for manifestation. Saturday, the 29th of May, and also with the Mercury retrograde, to just go on and on, but it allows you to look at what's important to you internally. Maybe you've been brainwashed into thinking this is what I want in life. With this Mercury retrograde allowing you to feel your own feelings, your own needs and desires become much clearer. So with the communication planet going backwards, you may need to find ways of getting your point across differently. Work may be frustrating and you may not make as much progress as you'd like because communication is a little bit stifled in a practical sense. Try and accept that. Keep your composure. Be there for yourself. Anger is going to be destructive and isn't going to help you. It's going to be unhelpful. Staying calm and supporting yourself, that will allow you to work through any miscommunications or any obstacles or delays. And again, it's another great day to go on dates and to make new connections. There's no frustration in that part of your life. So you may think, hey, really? I should start a new relationship when Mercury is retrograde? Yes, the communication is different. So you may meet someone who communicates differently. The thing to watch out for with starting new relationships is Venus retrograde, the planet of love and beauty going backwards. But Venus isn't in retrograde. So you may even meet someone who looks at the world completely differently and has a totally different perspective and vibrates at a totally different frequency and sees things that you see as problematic as a non-issue. And you may learn something from someone like that. So be willing and teachable. I really feel, especially later on in the week, like Thursday all the way through to Sunday, that it's a great time for people who are looking for love and who are willing to start new relationships. Okay, Sunday the 30th of May, the moon goes into Aquarius at 4 minutes past 6 in the morning. The moon in Aquarius is now in an air sign, so it's about ideas and humanity and thinking about others, which is interesting with the communication planet being in retrograde, because you may see things in a bit of a weird way and certainly differently. The moon then conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, structures and rules and the status quo. It squares Uranus and Taurus, so friction between that and chaos in a real world sense. It trines the sun in Gemini, sextiles Chiron in Aries. So there's a lot of energy. We've got air In Aquarius and Gemini, we've got Taurus, that's the element of earth. Very little water. The water we do have in the chart is Venus in Gemini, quincunxes, Pluto in Capricorn, and then Mars in Cancer, that's the only water we've got, trines Neptune in Pisces. So it's really full on. Okay, so with all of that, with the water element being kind of highlighted by Mars in Cancer, you may feel inspired to work creatively, to take your ideas and your thoughts and to put them into some sort of practical, tangible format that other people can access. You may also want to work as a speaker or as a volunteer or support worker. You're going to feel really communicative and charitable, and you may get this strong desire to help other people. That's the Aquarius energy. And I really think that the Mercury retrograde affects it. If you've just been looking at information in the sense of, okay, I need to use my intellect to do my books and to write and to get the point across, you may want to use your intellect to be of service now, to be a humanitarian. And if that's new for you, if you've never done charity work or volunteered or anything like that, try it out. You'll get a lot from it on Sunday. That is great in itself because you're making a positive contribution, but it's also wonderful for new relationships and meeting like-minded people. It will also offer you ideas about how to solve problems in your own career by watching other people, how they do it, and learning from others and through their example. Sharing your feelings is going to create a surprising dialogue which can not only inspire, but also help you heal from emotional pain in a significant way. So there's a really coming together of hearts and minds, and it's really a nice, gentle time. And I think people are going to be more willing to be vulnerable and to open themselves up on Sunday. It's this whole energy of change and perspective altering. You know what I said earlier with Mercury retrograde can sometimes be a bit difficult to navigate. I think what it does on Saturday and Sunday particularly, it brings the guard down quite a lot. So people who usually have all these walls up and protect themselves, they may find themselves suddenly being very, very unguarded and saying something that they never would. And that can bring you closer together with those people and vice versa. So I think being honest and open is a good thing at the weekend and will really bring you closer and will help you to understand yourself even more. So you see, I wasn't lying. There is a lot going on this week. It's really full on. So be there for yourself. I think that's the most important thing, to just be your own best friend. I think that's going to help you the most. I hope you have a wonderful week and that this gives you an idea of what is coming up. If you would like a personal reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to order your reading with me. And in my personal readings, I use astrology, tarot, and numerology. The astrology chart, like I've drawn up the chart for this week, right? And that's how I've looked at the energy and what's going on. In your personal sessions, what I do is I take your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. That gives me a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born, and that's known as your birth chart or natal chart. And that's the same way for life, because you were born at a specific moment, right? And when I look at that chart and analyze it, I can really see a lot. Your life purpose, your vocational aptitudes, what's kind of destined in certain areas and what you can manifest in those areas, what you can work with, what you can overcome. So strengths, weaknesses, spiritual awakenings, love, finance, family, health, colleagues, institutions, travel, hopes and dreams. Any questions you've got, I can look at. Also, I look at your progress chart and your transits to see what's coming up in future. And if it's your birthday, there's something called a solar return chart, which is a particular chart that I do for the year ahead. And it shows me what the key themes are from your birthday this year until your birthday next year. And that's a great tool to look at really what's coming up. Astrocartography in terms of locations and what areas contain what energy for you specifically. So if you do have any questions and you'd like to speak to me, then please do get in touch. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on book your reading to order the reading. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe and share the video online. Have a fabulous week and I'll speak to you next week. All the best.